Hey everybody, John Greenwald Jr. here of theblackvault.com. Last week, as you hopefully know, I released a video what I called my preliminary thoughts on the preliminary report on UAPs. Now, there was one vital key aspect to what happened on Friday that was not in that video. If you pay attention to me on social media, you'll know that I stressed a one-page memo submitted by the Deputy Secretary of Defense was the biggest aspect to Friday's story. Yes, the report was interesting in some ways. Yes, it was a big letdown in other ways. But this one-page memo is something that I feel is the biggest aspect to Friday's story. Now, let me pull up my website. If you haven't seen this, it's on the front page right now, at least on June 28th, 2021, when I recorded this. Just go ahead and search if you don't see it on the front page for this title here, Unidentified Aerial Phenomena Assessments Memo issued after report release. I had posted this on the 25th of June, 2021. Essentially what this is a one-page memorandum submitted to all senior Pentagon leadership, commanders of the combatant commands, defense agency, and DoD field activity directors. This was from the Deputy Secretary of Defense, as I stated, and it has the subject of the following: Unidentified Aerial Phenomena Assessments. I'm going to read this to you guys just in case if it doesn't really show on YouTube that well, but I think it's good to hear it aloud. A recent report from the Office of the Director of National Intelligence highlights the current challenges associated with assessing unidentified aerial phenomena, or UAP, occurring on or near DoD training ranges and installations. It is critical that the United States maintain operation security and safety at DoD ranges. To this end, it is equally critical that all U.S. military air crews or government personnel report whenever aircraft or other devices interfere with military training. This includes the observation and reporting of UAPs. The report also confirmed that the scope of UAP activity expands significantly beyond the purview of the Secretary of the Navy, who heads the Unidentified Aerial Phenomena Task Force, or UAPTF, and suggested process improvements to ensure timely collection of consistent data on UAP. Consistent with these recommendations and to improve partnership with the ODNI and other non-DoD organizations, I direct the Office of the Undersecretary of Defense for Intelligence and Security to develop a plan to formalize the mission currently performed by the UAPTF. The plan should, number one, establish procedures to synchronize collection, reporting, and analysis on the UAP problem set, and to establish recommendations for securing military test and training ranges. Number two, identify requirements for the establishment and operation of the new activity to include the organizational alignment, resources, and staffing required, as well as any necessary authorities and timeline for implementation. Number three, be developed in coordination with the Principal Staff Assistants, the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the Secretaries of the Military Departments, and the Commanders of the Combatant Commands with the DNI and other relevant interagency partners. All members of the department will utilize these processes to ensure that the UAPTF or its follow-on activity has reports of UAP observations within 2 weeks of an occurrence. To me, this is huge. And I'll say it again. The UAP report was interesting in some ways, a big letdown in many others, but this one-page memorandum essentially formalizes and instructs all Pentagon senior leadership and all the commanders of all the combatant commands to essentially be prepared that they will be taking in UAP reports. They will be looking at them, or at least submitting them to the task force to be looked at, and essentially adhering to whatever formalized process that there is that's going to be created. Now, why is that big? Because it's one thing for Congress to tell the intelligence community, mainly the DNI, hey, you guys need to do this report. We need to be briefed on UAPs. What are you doing about it? And that's one thing. But for an immediate action to be taken place by the Deputy Secretary of Defense to implement and attempt to formalize this process, and to include not just the Navy, which seems to be, well, obviously spearheading it through the UAPTF, and that's where it's located, but essentially bringing in all other military branches and other agencies to get involved, to look at the phenomena, to submit within 2 weeks of an occurrence all encounters with UAP. What the UAP task force does next, well, that's not written yet that we've seen, other than the obvious, they investigate them. But to what extent? How much access to does the UAP task force actually have? That's a big key question that I don't see a lot of people really talking about right now. But when it comes to, let's say, government top secret classified technology, do those involved in the UAP task force have access to that? Do they have carte blanche access to everything and anything that they want? And I don't have the answer to that. But if they do, and they still come up empty on trying to identify these things, that would be huge. And that is huge, given the report says that the majority of them are all unexplained, with the exception of one. So they all remain unexplained. So it comes down to the key fact on whether or not the UAPTF has proper access. But this particular memo, if they don't have access already, will hopefully give them that access. Will hopefully allow them to access all information they need to truly come up with some kind of conclusion, some kind of viable explanation. And if they can't, then they take the next step internally, whatever that might be. But they're dealing with obviously a unknown or unidentified phenomena. So what happens next, which, and again, to the public realm, we don't know yet. It's unwritten, so to speak. We don't know. But this memo formalizes that process, and that gets the ball rolling with not only the U.S. Navy, which again, we just keep hearing over and over about, but everybody. And that is going to be fascinating to watch unfold and gives me a heck of a lot of FOIA fodder to go after. But more on that in the future on this very channel. Make sure you give the video a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe and turn the notifications on to ensure that you're notified of the next video, because there's a lot coming. This is John Greenwald Jr. signing off, and we'll see you next time.